Hello everybody and welcome to today's CPG Masterclass series webinar with Jimmy van Heuven van Staereling on part one of junior coaching, a three-part webinar series that we're doing as part of the series with three different speakers on each one. So we've got Jimmy today, we've got Elliot van der Veek on Wednesday, and then we've got Vieg Giesen on Friday. Just before we get started, if you could just make sure your microphones are muted, but keep your screens on if you want so we can see who's there, who's listening and who's watching. We'll also be recording the webinar, so we'll upload that straight onto the Masterclass series hub page afterwards as well. So if you do miss anything, you can go onto there and watch and rewatch it. And then we'll also be allocating a bit of time afterwards as a Q&A. So if you have any questions for Jimmy today that crop up over the course of the presentation, post them in the chat option in the bottom of your screens, and I'll allocate sort of 10-15 minutes to ask Jimmy as many as I can from you guys. My name is Tom Bentley. I'm the Comms and Event Manager for the CPG, so I'd like to welcome you all again once to this webinar today, and we'll get straight started. So I'll hand you over to Jimmy, who is the Director of Training for the PGA of Holland, and also is responsible for further education. He works as a consultant, a tutor and a coach for the Dutch Golf Federation, specialising in junior golf. So we've got the main man today for the webinar, which is great. So Jimmy, I'll hand straight over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, it's a great pleasure to speak to you all. Yeah, in an international way. I did my presentation, and I also yeah, happy to speak because I think we have a problem, Houston, and because what I see in Holland, and I think not only in Holland, is that the figures of junior players are really dropping. In Holland, we went from in a way from 10%, we went below 5 at the moment. I think at the moment in total we are on 2.5% of the total amount of golfers, and that's scaring. And if you're going to a golf club, or most of the golf clubs I come, if you have, for instance, a golf club of 1,000 members, they don't even have 100 members. It's going less than 50, so that is less than 5% on a golf club, and it's a shame that is happening. And I hope to inspire you, or to take the lead, or to give the lead to somebody on your golf club after this presentation, to pick the junior policy again up, because I think the juniors they really have the future. And as a PGA pro, I really feel responsible for it, because I think one of the things, we are always on the golf club, and we can be the leader. So everybody who is listening now, pick your junior program up. Today I will speak about the fundamentals of a good junior program, because before you start a project, you first need to have a good plan, and after that you have to enroll that plan. Wiebe Giesen will do something about game coaching on Friday, and Elliot van der Veek will talk about motor learning and juniors. They're all specialists, and they are in my team of tutors, and they will be complementary to this presentation. It's also, why are we doing it? I think that juniors are the future. Yeah, and we don't need juniors for elite golf. Yeah, and a lot of federations, they want juniors for their elite. No, I also think that we just need the juniors for that are the players for later. And on a lot of golf clubs, it makes the golf club also younger. Yeah, and I think also that it is it's a great sport. Really, it's a great sport for juniors to do. I always say, learn it young. There is no sport that you can't learn golf cheaper than as a junior. Yeah, it's I have paid, when I was 18, 20, I already had to pay private lessons in that time where I was learning golf. But now for 200 or 300 euros in Holland, you can a whole year you can learn the game of golf, and that is totally different than if you are 40 or 50, that you have to pay 60 hours or 50 hours an hour for your professional. So that's one of the reasons. learn it young. It also makes a golf club sustainable, because I'm definitely sure that all the youngsters, they will come back when they are 40, 45. And a lot of golf clubs, they say, no, we don't invest in the juniors because they are no business. No, at the moment, perhaps they are no business. And I think it's contrary, but they will come back. What I have seen in my golf clubs, that a lot of youngsters, when they were 18, 20, they left the golf club, went out to do a study. They had a job, they had a family, they had the first mortgage, and after 20 years or 15 to 20 years, they came back on the golf club because they had everything done. They had a job with responsibility, and during that job, they were allowed to plan their own time, so they can time to play golf again. And I'm definitely sure that if you have learned it as a youngster, it's so much easier to pick up the sport. And I think that are the real members of a golf club. You will be a member from 40 till 80, till they die in a way. Yeah. Why are we also doing it? Because you have to develop the coordination very young. A lot of my old students, they said, look, it's a difficult game. And yes, it's a difficult game. If you're learning it when you're 50, then it's a difficult game. Yeah. And but if you have learned it as a youngster, it's totally not difficult, because if you have learned it as a youngster, it's like riding a bike. And if I ask you after 20 years to ride the bike again, you will jump on it and you will ride away. So that's for me also one of the reasons to develop a good junior program. So all the youngsters on the golf club, or the kids of the parents, they can learn the game, and okay, they will go away, but they will come back later with a developed coordination. Yeah. The other thing is, and that's for me, golf is a game where you can really, where you will learn your life skills. You can develop in a team, but you have with the other kids, but you also have to learn to deal with in a way with adults. You are responsible in the golf course for the rules. You have to respect your opponent, and there are so many things in it. You're learning strategic thinking. Yeah, you have to deal with failure and success, etc. There's so much in it, and I think that we have at the moment at CPG, we have a project that's called Parents in Golf. A lot of those life skills are in it, but I think that it's a great opportunity to learn the life skills and social skills when they are playing golf. Now, there's also a lot of more reasons, and I think you are all professional and you all will understand what you have learned from the game. And I think that we have to hand all those experience, you have to hand that over. And finally, I think that's it's our social responsibility. A golf is not only for the rich and the old people and who can afford it. No, it's for everybody. And I think it's also our social responsibility to let the juniors share the perfect and nice game we are playing, or the nice sport we are dealing with. It's fantastic. Okay. Now I'm coming back on, okay, you need a good plan before you're going to do something. Always say, you need a good plan. So the whole golf club knows what you are doing. And it's also, the golf club knows where you are going to. But it's not, the plan is also, and remember that if you have a good plan, it creates also support by the golf club. Yeah, it's not just a junior lesson. No, the members know, okay, he is doing this and this and this, or she is doing this and this and this. Yeah, it helps you also to create help. a lot of PGA professionals, they want to do it on their own. But if you are doing it in a structured way, it's not possible. So you need volunteers, people who help you. Yeah, and I think that with a good plan, it's so much easier to attract. Finally, a good plan makes also sure that it's much easier to attract sponsors. And that's my experience. Most of the sponsors, they say, yeah, okay, if we give you money, for what are we giving money? Yeah, and if you don't have a good plan or a well-thought plan, yeah, it's much more difficult to get the resources for it. Yeah, so I advise you, make a good plan. Okay, now my experience, and the fundamentals are not out of books. Yeah, it's just all okay. It's partly out of books. I don't know anymore, but it's all based on evidence, on experience. What I did by giving junior courses, giving the junior lessons on my golf club, giving advice to golf clubs. I have eight fundamentals, and the fundamentals are, of course, you must have fun. Yeah, that's one. Then the second, and that's a very important thing, you have to create teams. Yeah, you must create teams in your junior program. Then they need training, they need playing in the course, and in the course. Then they need instruction. There must be a structured plan. There must be a good environment. Yeah, and there must be leadership. Yeah, that are my 8 fundamentals, and I will go with you through it. The most important fundamental is, of course, fun. Yeah, and then you say, okay, it's so easy to make fun, but we are PGA professionals, and I think that we have to do it in such a way that fun creates a player. Yeah, a good player with passion, and it's not fun for fun. Yeah, it must. I think that fun must have a meaning and a goal, and I think that we as PGA professionals we know that, and we can argue and we can say, okay, this is fun, but with that meaning. Yeah, for example, you can climb a tree and fall out of it. Super, they like it, and there's a lot of joy. But why are you doing that? I say, okay, it's doing because to learn the motor skills at the right time. Yeah, okay, that's the reason why you're doing it. That's the same as playing notches and crosses. I think that Elliot will also talk about it. And yeah, there's notches and crosses on a putting green. Okay, but why are you doing it? Because you want to learn them direction and distance. Okay, so that's the meaning behind that game. Okay, and they are still having fun. They are having fun, but they are learning distance and direction. The same as, for instance, like you sometimes hear, okay, we're gonna make pancakes for the members. Okay, nice event, but why are you doing that? If you say, okay, it's just for fun, no, it's you doing that to give something back to the members and to learn the kids social skills. And so it's not fun, but fun with the meaning and the goal. And it's our skill, of our competence as a PGA pro to set that all in line. So put it all in line, learning first motor skills by climbing a tree, hitting balls in all the ways, and that you at the end you have a complete golfer with passion for the golf, with all the social skills, etc. in it. But it's up to us to put it in a correct learning line. We say it. Yeah. And that's for me also a very important thing. And I've never given a lesson nearly on one-to-one basis, individual. It's always, for me, all my groups that were the teams. And I think that we have to promote that also in the right way. And the funny part is the one of the biggest sports events is the Ryder Cup team. Yeah, the Solheim Cup, the Ryder Cup, the Solheim Cup, the PGA Junior League, Golf 6, and the club competition. And it's something where the kids live for. Yeah, so that will be the trigger to do to work for, and we have to use that in a much better way also in golf. And my experience is kids like to play in a team, and the picture you were seeing is now they were playing the PGA Junior League in the final, but you see the kids smiling with the same shirts, they're feeling working together. Yeah, and so make teams of it, and also yeah, I say team is more fun. Team is learning from each other. Yeah, you even as a coach, you don't even know what they learn from each other, but they learn a lot from each other. Also in a team, you will learn life and social skills, because you have to deal with each other. And that's also for juniors, we are a team sport and an individual sport, and I think that's a big opportunity. And we have the image of being an individual sport, but I think that as a PGA coach, we have to promote it much more in the golf club, to the parents, to everybody, to the grandfathers and grandmothers, that you can play golf also in a team, so working together. Because a lot of parents, they say, no, I put my children on hockey because they learn to work together and work in a team. But if we as coaches promote it much more, that they work together in a team, I think we have them both, individual and as a team sport. Yeah, and I think it's also our responsibility. Yeah, if you see group lessons in which the pro is going to each pupil, giving me 5 or 10 minutes, that's for me not teaching, making a team sport. That's still making an individual sport of it. So I think that it's our job to promote it much more as a team, with the same shirts, etc., so they can be proud on it. Okay, to learn the game, of course you need instruction, but I think that the instruction is the last, or it's too much overdone. It's too much overdone, and I think that in the way in the past we did it too much more in the way we teach the adults, and I think that all junior coaching is making a combination of training and instruction. Yeah, because juniors, they learn in a total different way. And the same as a junior, you just have to say, okay, you have to hit it to the flag or to the green. Okay, they will do it. They just hit the ball. They know what the golf club will do, and it's totally different than, okay, you have to take your grab aim and set up, and then yeah, make your turn. Never say that. A junior just say where they have to go to, and that's a different way. And if you go to sports like football and hockey, nobody have told you how to kick a ball or how to push the ball. No, you just did it. You just want to make a goal. You just want to kick it in the left corner, and you just did it. That's funny. And the hard disk of a child is so good, or the computer, how do you say it? They will do the job. Don't worry about that. And Elliot van der Veken, he will talk about motor learning on the 20th, and he will explain. So it's much more goal-centered, much more implicit learning. They don't even know that they are learning. So, but instruction, it must be in it. Yeah, but it's just the way you do it. Yeah. Then when I came in the golf world, for me it was so strange that the children or the juniors, they had to train alone. That's for me, that's if I've done a lot of sports, even athletics, from which you can say it is an individual sport, even that I trained with my team, always under supervision of a coach. Yeah, and all sports are by all sports are the juniors training under supervision. Football, hockey, rugby, basketball, also tennis. Most of the time they are training under supervision, and I think that we have to do it much more also in golf. And I think that okay, if a child has to train, or a youngster, 2 or 3 times a week, perhaps we can't do it alone as a PGA professional. But for that reason, we need parents, and we need volunteer leaders to help us. And then we're coming back on a structured plan, because they have to know what they have to do. But for me, it's training alone. It's not. It's less effective. And I think that just as in all sports, do it under supervision. And this I'm saying it must fit the learning styles of the youngsters. And Wiebe Giese, he will at Wednesday he will explain game coaching. What is for us, I think the way to train juniors. But I think not only for juniors. I think that a lot of adults can learn from this. Yeah. Then playing. In a way, that's where they're coming from. They are coming to the golf club not to have only instruction and being on a driving range. No, I'm coming to play the course. That's what triggered me. When I was with my father fly fishing in Scotland, I walked along the golf courses, and I saw the nice golf courses, people playing, and that was one of the reasons I want to play the game. And I don't want to be a driving range professional. I want to play the game, and I think we have to put that much more in our program. Yeah, you can play for fun, for training, or for competition. And if I see a lot of training plans, perhaps sometimes only 20% is 10 to 20% is playing into the golf course. But I think that it must be at least 50% that they are going into the golf course. And what I also saw, that my experience is also that nearly all the good players, yeah, weren't the kids who only came for the lessons. No, that were the kids who went with their father, grandfather, friends, who went to play the game. There they get the confidence. They made the transfer of what they learned on the driving range. They made the transfer themselves. And I think it's our job as a good coach to put it in a plan that they, on a regular basis, that are going into the golf course. You have to promote that in the right way. Then a structured plan. It's a good plan. It's well thought and documented. Yeah, so it's not just one A4. No, it's a well documented plan with over the whole year, with all the lessons in it. So the parents know what you are doing. A lot of parents, they say, okay, Jimmy, I want to bring them as much as possible to the golf course. I only have to know when and where and what they are going to do. So they have to be informed. Yeah? And also with a good roadmap, you will stay on track. And so it's not just a junior lesson. No, you're working in stages. You're working towards something. And also volunteer coaches who wants to help you, they know what they have to do. And it's also a good structured plan makes a junior program sustainable. And I've seen it so many times that when a good junior professional went away from a golf club, the whole junior plan went down. Yeah, and so that's a shame. And I think that if you're leaving a golf club, there must be a plan. So the professional who's coming after you, he must be able to pick up the plan and make it even better and continue it. Yeah, but if they don't know, okay, it's quite difficult to continue something. Now, this is also a very, very important one, the environment around the youngsters. And for me, okay, we have the kids, we have the youngsters, and then you have everything around it. And that is so, so important if you are, so make sure that everything around, and that are the parents, the coaches, the clubhouse, the climate, the facilities, the resources, the members, yeah? For instance, if you have a golf club where the members don't like juniors, that's a hard job, yeah? But if you have members who welcome the juniors, that's a total different job. The same as the clubhouse. There are if you're going to walk in the clubhouse of a football club, you see all the teams winning who have won the competition, or you see the good players on the wall, yeah? So why not many more good players and people who can inspire the juniors to work hard? So, and I think that's also perhaps our job to have influence in that, to create an environment where the juniors say, okay, I can develop myself here. It's the same if you're living on a links course, you will learn by the circumstances to play the ball low into the wind. That's no instruction what is needed. No, it's just the circumstances which creates your swing. Finally, parents, the influences of parents is very big. So if you are dealing with the kids, you also have to deal with the parents. Yeah, they are the mentor, they are the coach, they are the sponsors. But you have also, and that's for me also, you have to educate the parents so that they will go in the right way and deal with the right way with their kids. Yeah, but because some parents, they think that they have a talent, and you have to explain it that it is that there is more than having a good swing, and but you have to educate, and that's also what is in the project Parents in Golf. And we are going to coach. We really, literally, as a CPG, we are going to coach the parents in the right way, so they will support the youngster on their way to become a good player or to have fun. And finally, another example of what an environment can do. Since COVID-19 in Holland, we have a lot of golf clubs who lowered the membership for the juniors, who gave lessons free, and because the golf course was open only for the juniors the first 2 weeks, they were able to play much more in the course. And I think you see that because of something is possible. It was also the communication with the club members was much more easier to talk about juniors. The last thing before we and then I'm going to conclude, and it's leadership. Yeah. Also my experience, also in foreign country, there was always one lady or one man who was the leader, who did the job to get the junior to get the junior plan running. I see it on the golf clubs where if the PGA professional loves the juniors, there are many juniors, and I think without the leader, there's no direction. You need that, and that's also what I advise everybody. If you are if you're not good in the plan, or perhaps find a leader. If you're having a golf school, find a leader who can run the junior department, and because otherwise, I say don't start the program, and that's because you need someone to get it forward. And finally, you need leadership, and then there's also one, and perhaps I had to say that to put it by the wise. Remember that juniors is big business if you do it in the proper way. If you make groups, that's also, yeah, you can then you can earn the same amount as you can earn with private lessons, even more, because you are giving them the whole year. every week, or sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. So that's for me also, but that's something you were talking about business, but don't forget that. And yeah, please, PGA professionals, do something with the juniors to get the figures at least 10% or above 10%. That was it. And I think now we have the questions.
Excellent.
Are there any questions, Tom?
We have got some questions. I've got a couple of questions for you as well. So just quickly, for everybody, if you do have a question for Jimmy, just post it in the chat now, and we'll work through some of them. Jimmy, the first one from me really is I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the biological versus chronological sort of argument. You know, the idea that juniors develop at different rates, grow at different rates, etc. How does that influence some of your practice as a junior coach?
Oh, then that's the because the juniors are all in a different stage, biological stage, and that's also why I say a good PGA professional is having is registered all his juniors. They know how the growth spurt is. So I should always, every month or 2 months, I should, as a good junior coach, you are measuring them in a certain age, because you can, if you don't take care of that, you can really spoil them. Yeah, you can really spoil them, and because we are working with growing material. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's just, and that's also one of the reasons why I shouldn't hand it over totally to amateurs. I think that you need to have education to deal in a proper way with the juniors, because you have to see it also, the biological changes of the kids. And it's not only you are 11 or you're in the grip from 11 till 12. No, it's you have to take care of them, and you have to see how they grow and how they are. For that reason, I also recommend to work together with medical specialists. If you want to grow a real, I would say junior academy, yeah, with a lot of juniors, I think you have a physical specialist also, but you can also use that guy also for the motor learning and etc. So how? Also, yeah.
Go on. Sorry, no, go on. Carry on.
No, it's what I say. Okay, and I think that also, if you're making the junior plan, make sure you're creating. We're not only talking about the team of juniors, but also the team of specialists around the juniors. Yeah, that's to take care of them. Yeah.
So would you you know, in your category, so if you're creating, you talked about team coaching, group coaching, etc.
Yeah.
Is there a particular criteria that you'd follow instead, rather than just doing 11 to 12, 13 to 14? Would you just do a mix and match and then just monitor their biological development as they go through? Yeah.
It's I monitor, and it's also in a good plan. You always have written down the phases where you're going to measure and where you're going to test again. Yeah. And if you're also in a professional junior program, you are as a PGA pro, you are speaking with the volunteers or with the club and discussing. Okay, Tom is developing very hard. Perhaps he has to go to another group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's growing so fast. He has to go to another group, or we have to slow down his training because he is growing.
Yeah, makes sense. Sense. Okay, and then Keith asks a question which sort of follows on from this a little bit, in that at what age would you start giving individual lessons to junior players? So that sort of element where they leave the group scenario and go into a more of an individual performance-based scenario.
Oh, now I have to watch out what I'm saying, but I think that you have to keep them, in a way, always in a group. Yeah. Only when they are within the group, they're going faster or slower. Yeah. You can say, okay, I take you out. Yeah. And I help you so you can go with the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I think in the whole program, even on the road to elite golf, the putting the details in, it's at the end. Yeah, because in the beginning you have to train the motor and the basic motor skills, and you have to put it in the, how do you say that, in big, you have to create it in big lines, the swing. Yeah, so and the details, and you're talking about details in a private lesson. Yeah, that's for me. I try to keep them as long, even if they are a lead player. Even if they are a lead player, you have to learn to play in a team. Yeah, and what I see, I'm working on the Dutch. It's quite elite training center. Yeah, and it's for me amazing that they are all training alone. Even then, they have to train with a group. Yeah, that because then they can play competition against each other. They can learn from each other, and so there are so many benefits. And just let them say, private coaching only to catch up, to catch up with the group, or if they are going too far. That's
there you go. That's a very interesting. That challenges the preconception that as soon as they sort of hit adolescent, 18, they just go into individual. Because I see a lot of coaches doing that, and it's wrong. So I agree with that, Jimmy.
And I think it's a skill for the PGA coach to give a team training, and then also take care of the individual wishes.
Yeah. Okay. Question from Mike, who's if I can remember off the top of my head, is based in Qatar. He's talking about it being an emerging market there. They've got good traction in getting juniors into lessons, but are then finding it difficult to get them from a participation phase to performance phase. So in essence, developing elite players. Any advice?
Yeah, I think you have to be patient. It's costing. I think to getting to if you're doing the program in the right steps, the performance will come. Yeah, and also for him, if he has to make his plan over the years, that because sometimes it's till 12, 13, then they can sometimes think about performance. And when they are coming into the golf club, when they are 7 or 8, it's already 4 or 5 years that you're working with them. Yeah. But be patient, and it's so important that in this phase, in the emerging market, that he is putting a lot of effort, that they really love the game, and so they will stay on the golf club. Yeah, and then at a certain moment you will see that they're going in the direction of performance, but you can't force it. If you're going to force it, they will step out, and it's just to trigger it. And I think the first step to create performance is to create a good competition. Yeah, it's one of the fundamentals was playing for competition. So if the juniors know that they have to play every week a competition on their golf club, they will practice the whole week. Yeah, so then the step to performance is much you will make it much easier earlier. But if there is no competition, in a way the sport is dead. In hockey, football, basketball, we always train 2 or 3 times for the competition to be better than the other team. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think if you are, I would love to set up a competition in Qatar where the juniors can play, and you will see, if you create a competition, they will train, they will do everything to go to that level.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, that's fine. I hope that gave you a bit of an insight, Mike. One from, I think it's related actually, one from Amir. You talked about team versus individual again. A lot of tournaments, especially junior tournaments, are very individually based.
Very important.
Would you advise a more team-based competition scenario?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I think that and even in golf, they can play their game individually, yeah, and that's possible. But their score, you can be a contribution for the team, yeah. And if you're talking about foursome and greensome, we have to play that much more, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then we learn from each other. We have to take care for each other. We learn so much more about from other people, how they react, and I think that's also what a Swedish coach, he always said, okay, even I also in my training I play so many foursome and greensome, because then I have to discuss with each other what they're going to do, and that's also one of the forms of learning in a practical way, and I think that also for the stability in your golf club, it's better to have a team than one member who's going around in Holland or in a country to do his own job. I think that in a team you're playing for your golf club, yeah. And I really am in favor of team competitions, and that's also one of the reasons why I put in my sheet competition, just a normal competition, but in Holland it's only five times. It's too less. It's just over the year, like in football, yeah. You see much more Ryder Cup, Solheim Cup formats with clubs against each other during the year. We are too individual sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, there you go, Amir. I've got one from Viv. In fact, Viv, I'm going to unmute you if that's okay, because you're presenting on Friday. He's mentioning about the athletic skills model, so I'll just get you to make your comment there, Viv, if you want to. Go ahead.
Viv.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you raise your hand if you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great, thank you. Okay, hi guys. My name is Wiebe, and I will talk to you later this week and Friday. A part of the answer of the question from a few minutes ago, we have to let them play. And the thing is, what's play? So I think not only at the beginning, but also if people can play golf, they quit to play the game. They make their strokes and they make their putts and they play their tournaments, but they don't play. So what's actually the difference between game and play? We will talk to that later Friday. Simon Sinek is a great coach. He talk about infinite games. Alan Watt is a great coach in sport, and he talks about play as well. And we will find out what's actually play and how can we integrate play not only in the junior lessons, but also in the game we play, and also in the system we create to create real good golfers. It's not only the juniors that we have to coach by play, but it's also the elite players who we should coach much more by playing the game. And we have a very interesting some interesting slides and not only thoughts but also good papers to talk about the thing play.
Yeah,
excellent.
I will underline what Wiebe is saying, and that's also what I see by the elite players on our golf club. They have forgotten to play the game in so many different ways, and but it can make them much better. That's my idea. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for that comment, Vib. I'll just put you back on mute. We'll hear from you a bit more on Friday. Thank you. Couple more questions. One coming from Mariette. She's asking, you're talking about going on the course more with juniors or as much as possible. Not necessarily, you sometimes don't always have that opportunity, do you? With courses being busy, barriers to it, etc. Any suggestions, practical solutions to get around that, Jimmy?
Yeah, but that's also the environment, that if you're on a golf club where they give you as a professional the responsibility to jump in the course if there is a free space, yeah, that's much easier than if you're working on a golf club where you need starting times, etc. for that. But there are so many ways to make the game easier. Even look, I think that one of the things that you have to learn the juniors is that they can play on their own in a fast way and in a safe way. Yeah, and also we as coaches, we have to learn the kids to drop the ball in the middle of the fairway or 100 meters in front of the green, so they can speed up if they are not fast, so they will not make any problems with the members. And it's also sometimes I've played if I had a group of 4 till 6 juniors, I put them in line on the fairway, and they hit the shot all together. Yeah, so there were 6 balls flying to the green. Yeah, only the best was allowed to hole out, and then the next we went to the next hole. So you have to be creative to use the golf course in a proper way, and that's the same playing and that's also if you have a good program. In my junior program, in the beginning of the year, I booked all the starting time for 5 till 6 or from 5 till 5:30 for my junior groups. Yeah, it was an agreement with the golf club, so the juniors had their time. Yeah, so they could play, and it's the same playing on the back nine when it is late. It's but you have to creative in finding solutions to put them much more into the golf course, and that's the same if you're not only tournaments or competition. The competition was integrated in my program, so it was if you had to train every week, but you also had a competition every week, and you were already on the starting list because you were in the training program. And if you couldn't come, you had to say that to me. Yeah, so everybody, so always they had their times, they went into the golf course, and that's also the way to stimulate it, because if you can ask it, especially the kids from where the parents not are playing golf, they are not coming so many times in the golf course. They are only on the driving range with you, but you can't be every time there. So you have to organize it. So make sure that you have fixed times. Make sure that you are creative in how to go fast through the golf course, and make sure that you have the flexibility of your golf club. And that's also make a good program that the golf club is saying, okay, we will help you, and the members accept it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. No, cool. That's fine. That wraps up the questions. If you do have any more, we've got plenty of time on Wednesday and Friday to post some more, because we've obviously got it's a 3-part series, this one. So just before you all leave, I will just go over the dates for this week. We've got a webinar tomorrow with Connor Dillon, which is with for Golf Pride. So it's about regripping and implementing that into your business. And then, as I've just said, Wednesday we've got part 2 with Elliot van der Veek on junior coaching. And then on Friday, we've got part 3 with Viv Geeson as well. So hopefully we can see you all for the follow-up from today on Wednesday and Friday. Just register for those through the hub page afterwards. Finally, just want to say thank you to you all for attending. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Found out a little bit more about junior coaching, and it'll hopefully inform your own coaching practices going forward as well. So thank you. And Jimmy, if you want to speak in as well.
No, thank you. It was a pleasure to speak for you. And for me, the biggest compliment can be that you're going to do something with it. Do something with it. Even if it is one part, but do something with it. Yeah. So over 10 years, I will see the result. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.